Hello and welcome to my Patreon page. Today I'm going to discuss Forex Factory. It's an excellent resource for analysing any of the currency pairs. There were a number of things announced today. So just see for the euro, German industry production. You just click on the folder, it gives you details of what it's about. So, change in the total inflation adjusted value of output produced by manufacturers, mines, and utilities. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So, the actual came in lower, so that's not good for the currency. Released monthly about 40 days after a month ends. It's a leading indicator of economic health. Production reacts quickly to ups and downs in the business cycle and is correlated with consumer conditions such as employment levels and earnings. It's an industrial output. So that's just an example of one there. So change in the number of employed people during the previous month. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So the forecast was 27.3, but it came in lower, minus 1.4k. So that's not good for the currency. This is a vital economic data released shortly after the month ends. The combination of importance and earliness makes for hefty market impacts. Yeah, this will affect the CAD quite a bit now. Job creation is an important leading indicator of consumer spending, which accounts for the majority of overall economic activity. Yeah, if job creation is low, people won't spend and the economy slows down. So that's what that's detailing there. And anyone that's trading, say, the Euro, USD, USD CAD, AUD, USD, USD JPY, they're keeping an eye on forexfactory.com and what's announced on whatever day. And it's a free resource, and it's a very good resource if you're trading forex, or even if you're in the stock market. All of these things do affect the overall economic landscape. So just see this one here: Euro. ECB President Lagarde speaks. So, due, due to speak at the economic meeting of AIXEN province, ECB President Christine Lagarde, more hawkish than expected, is good for the currency. No results on that yet, as you can see here. ECB President: volatility is often experienced during her speeches as traders attempt to decipher interest rate clues. As head of the ECB, which controls short term interest rates, she has more influence over the euro's value than any other person. So it's very important when she speaks. And there's a lot of volatility on the euro leading up to her speeches, during her speeches, and after her speeches. So traders scrutinize her public engagements as they are often used to drop subtle clues regarding future monetary policy. And that's what they're watching out for: monetary policy and what she'll decide. European Central Bank and unemployment change, Fed monetary policy, retail sales. That's another one as well. So, retail sales, change in total value of inflation adjusted sales at retail level. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So that came in slightly less, not a huge amount. Released monthly about 35 days after the month ends. Tends to have a relatively muted impact. So yeah, there's not a major impact, doesn't have a major impact because Germany and France, which account for about half of the Eurozone's economy, release earlier consumer spending data. It's a primary gauge of consumer spending, which accounts for the majority of overall economic activity. Retail sales, and that's tied into employment versus unemployment as well, how much people have. So, average hourly earnings, this is another one here, the USD. So, change in the price of business pay for labor, excluding the farming industry. This doesn't take into account farmers, it's just people who are working for other industries. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So that came in bang on. That's one of the few that I've showed you here today that has come in bang on. Well, not over, but exactly what was forecast. So released monthly, usually on the last first Friday after month ends. This is the earliest data related to labour inflation. Sources changed series calculation formula. It's a leading indicator of consumer inflation. When businesses pay more for labor, the higher costs are usually passed on to the consumer. Yeah, if a company rises wages, they'll usually pass the costs on to the person buying the product. People don't often realize that, but it is the case. So That's another important one. So as well as checking out all the different, say the household spending, consumer spending, foreign currency reserves, unemployment change, non-farm payroll, etc. You can go through all this for free. The calendar is updated on a daily basis. What you can also check as well is how each currency pair is doing. So just for percent long versus 65% short, and click on the folder like above to get the details. So it shows the traders 109 long, 203 short, the average entry, the average trade return, winning trades 133, more winning on the long side, 78 on the short side, losing trades, more winning 358 versus 1069 on the short. Yeah, so that's a big difference there. So you can do the same for the GBP USD, Great British Pound versus the US dollar. So trades, you can see here again, the lots, winning trades 96, winning long trades 40, short trades, and that's the losing trade, losing trades long versus the short 73 versus 972. So you can see here. I hope you found this video on forexfactory.com interesting. I use it. It's very good. Whether you're trading forex, whether you're trading stocks, everything, it all ties in because it's all to do with the European economic landscape, the USD, the different currency pairs, and how each of these things affect them, which they do. Say the ECB president speaking, the non-farm payrolls, the average hourly earnings, the unemployment rate, everything like that. It all ties into the health of the economy, CPI, etc. Hope you found it interesting, and thanks very much for joining my Patreon. And if you haven't joined my Patreon already, you need to be logged into Patreon and have an account with Patreon. You can become a free member of my community or a paid member for as little as $5 a month. So I hope to see you there, and I'll provide this video as a free resource for everybody. On my Patreon page, there's a mixture of free content as well as content that's for not for members only. It's only $5 a month. I put a lot of work into this, and I'd really appreciate you joining, and you'll gain a lot of value from it as well. On my YouTube channel, I talk about the stock market and Bitcoin. On my Patreon page, I talk about forex commodities and I talk about other crypto as well. And I'm given a comprehensive program about with the do's and don'ts, the red flags, etc. So if you go into my Patreon page, you'll see everything. Hope to see you on the inside. Thanks for watching. Take care.